Welcome to the Parenting Roundabout Speed Round, where we answer a quick question every day to keep our group chat fun going all week long. I just came back from, it's been about 2 months now, from a trip to Arizona. We like to do some kind of trip at least a couple times a year. And you know what? To be honest, we don't plan in advance for them. They're very last minute. So I'm wondering, what do you do, Terry and Catherine, about your family trips or your personal trips? Do you plan in advance? Are you pretty much wing it and let's see what happens? How do you work with it? Catherine?
When we went to Italy last summer, which was, a 2-week long big trip, we planned some basic things, like we had a place to stay everywhere we went, and we had some train tickets, and we rented a car at one point, and we took care of all that ahead of time. But in terms of thinking like, okay, on this day we're going to go to this museum or attraction, we didn't do any of that. We just said we're going to figure that out when we get there, and generally that worked pretty well because I just didn't want us to feel overscheduled and have a lot of pressure to do, today is Tuesday, we got to go to the Coliseum. So it was better, I think, to just see how we felt. We did miss out on maybe one thing, like there was this really cool tour in Venice of the dungeons and underground parts of the Doge's palace that we could have gone on, but it was all booked up by the time we read the guidebook and figured out that it was there. So we missed out on that, but we also had some fun things that happened that we couldn't have planned. Like we left to the last day to go to St. Peter's Basilica in Rome, and so then we turned up and the Pope was outside giving an audience, So we didn't actually get to go inside because it was closed because the Pope was outside, but we saw the Pope. Wow. So that was pretty cool, and it was totally by accident.
How about you, Terry? Are you much of a planner when it comes to travel?
Well, we usually plan our destination ahead of time because we have a timeshare, so we trade it for other locations, and I start looking way ahead of time when there's more selection, and so generally we know where we're going. In terms of knowing what we're doing when we get there, I have not had success really either way. There was a time when we went to Williamsburg, Virginia, and I bought all our tickets in advance, and I planned out what day we would go to each place, and then there was a Hurricane Irene, I believe it was, and the power was out in everything for like 2 or 3 days, including the amusement parks, and then they had to have a day or two to get things back working and all the water out of things. So that didn't work out so well. Other times I'm always the one who has to plan, and I would really just like to go someplace and sit with a book for a week. That would be my ideal vacation. So I don't like planning stuff so much. So then in that case, a lot of times we'll just go and then see what there is to do and kind of decide where we go. But when I was growing up, we would go on some really fancy vacations that my dad would plan to the day.
Wow.
And that was nice. I think the key is it's nice when somebody else is doing it for you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It could be.
So I just found out now I have a friend who's going to become a Disney travel agent. So I may have to have her plan a vacation for us one of these days. Just to support her, not because I don't want to have to plan anything.
Well, I think from the sounds of it, we're kind of, we lean towards the non-planning side of trips for the most part. So maybe our listeners can tell us what they do when it comes to planning their trips. And that's it for today's Speed Round. Come back tomorrow for another question and visit parentingroundabout.com for all our group chats and other weekly episodes.